What is going on, you Stallions and Stallionettes? AK-40 Kevin here, in the gamer heaven. Today I'm going to be reviewing this wonderful, amazing, spectacular piece of tech here. Retails for about 25 to 30 US dollars, has a whopping 300 AAA title onboard games, and some of the most comfortable ergonomic controllers I have ever used. If you don't buy this, you have a low T count and your IQ count is subpar. Your wife is cheating on you and your dog probably doesn't love you. Nah, but in all seriousness, guys, I reviewed this thing about 3 years ago, and it was absolutely atrocious back then. Let's see if it's changed for 2021. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, if you're new to the channel, this is where we do our unboxings as well as our custom controller and PC builds and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So today we're going to be reviewing the My Arcade Game Station Wireless. So it's like Gamecast from Malibu's Most Wanted. What do you got, Dreamcast or you got GameCube? I told you I got Gamecast, I can't afford it. So we got the Game Station Wireless over here. Now, so I will say right off the gate, the best way to get into retro gaming is to build one of these single board computers called a Raspberry Pi. You install an operating system called RetroPie, which is an emulation station that lets you install 50 or more retro consoles, about 30,000 plus games in your library. It gives you a desktop-like user interface. You can actually buff up resolution for newer TVs. You can increase frame rate. You can save your games directly to the memory on there, so you can instantly pop into a game. Allows you to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. But there's a ton of these little third-party companies out here like My Arcade that make these extremely cheap Chinese retro consoles. I am going to be reviewing a whole slew of them on this channel. It's going to be in a playlist titled Retro Gaming. And usually the user interface is incredibly poor. The actual game emulation is well below standards to where they actually run worse than the actual original games did. And more than half the time, they can't get a license from Nintendo or Sega or Sony, so they put a bunch of third-party basement-programmed hacked games that run like absolute crap and are not the actual licensed registered games. So this is no different than that. I reviewed this about 3.5 years ago when I was making videos in my garage with a GoPro. I'm redoing this video because I want to revisit this and see if my opinion has changed over the last 3 years. Spoiler alert, I don't think it has. So looking at the box here, the box is actually pretty good looking here. It shows you the console and the controllers that are included. 300 built-in retro games. You spin it around here, it gives you a little preview of some of the games on there. And guess what? Not a single title on here of those 300 games is a licensed Sega or Nintendo title. There's also several duplicates of games that I will show you in there. Some of them just don't launch, and none of them are really that enjoyable. This thing retails for about $25. I have seen it as low as $18 and as high as $35 on Amazon. I will have this linked in the description below if you want to pick it up for yourself. This is a 8-bit game system with two 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers, and it is powered by either mini USB, not micro USB, not USB-C, mini USB, or four AA batteries. So you can actually run this thing off battery power, which is kind of cool, but it also goes to show how low spec, low power hardware this thing is packing that you can power it off of AA batteries. All right, enough jaw jacking and lip smacking. Let's break into this thing. Okay, I opened it upside down. So you have your little instruction manual right here. It does have a little bit of color. It has some red in there, has multiple languages, pretty small font, and it is relatively informative. It tells you what to do with this little console. Not that there's too much you can do with it. Now, here's your plug for the TV. It is mono audio only, so not stereo. You're just gonna have one plug for audio, one for video, and then one input plug that looks like a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. This is what's transferring your video. So if that gives you any idea as to the quality of this console, like I said, the RetroPies over here, these have HDMI ports on the back. So you have two controllers in here. In order to get to the batteries, you have a tiny Phillips head screw. You open this up here. You have a slot for 3 AAA batteries. And one of the unfortunate things about this device is you have to be using P1 or Player 1 controller. If you want to use P2, you have to be playing as 2 players. If this one breaks or something, you have to get a new console. They don't sell individual controllers, and the only thing P2 does is, sure enough, for a second player. But if you are, if this breaks or you lose it or something and you want to just play your console with P2, it doesn't work. This is like set up only to be player 2 input, so you can't navigate the menu or anything like that. As for the controller itself, it actually does feel ergonomically pretty good in the hand. It has kind of a rubberized coating that feels good to the skin. You can press your reset button. That will take you back to the main menu to select a new game. You have an A, B, X, and Y button on there. They are incredibly close together and very small. Like if you look here, I can actually cover all 4 of them with my thumb at once. So that might be good for children. But even just cleanly hitting these buttons here, I mean, all 4 of them are like almost underneath my thumb here. You also have a start and select button, and then you have a 4-way D-pad. The D-pad feels really sloppy and loose. It doesn't have any crispness to it. It's not tactile or clicky. It's just really sloppy and mushy. Same thing with the face buttons. They just don't feel good. In fact, sometimes B sticks, and I have been very gentle with this console, so that's unfortunate. As for the console itself, if you even want to call it that, you have your battery tray on the bottom here. You have your mini USB, your AV out, and an on and off switch. This thing is incredibly light. This weighs like virtually nothing. In fact, let's see what it does weigh. Now, a quick disclaimer, I use this scale here specifically for weighing electronics goods. I don't use it for drugs or anything like that. This is a little food scale. And this comes in at 3.6 ounces. Controller with batteries in it is 3.4 ounces, so very light itself. Like just for like an idea of reference, a Xbox Series S controller, we customized this one on the channel by the way, 8.4 ounces for an Xbox controller, which isn't hefty by any means. 3.6 ounces for this console. That's how just chintzy and light this thing feels. You know, looks are subjective, but this thing is cosmetically quite unpleasing. It's just just a little tiny black box. You have your sensor here on the front for your controllers. So we've come to the conclusion the hardware's not great. Let's go ahead and plug it in to the TV here and see about the software, the 300 onboard games. I bet there's some real bangers on there, boys. Oh, cool, it crashed. Yay! Alright, so this is the 5th time now consecutive that it's crashed. I'm pressing the reset button to get back to the main menu. So I do have this powered off of the top of my PC tower via USB. Maybe that's the reason maybe it's getting undervolted. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into a power brick and plug it into the wall. See if we can get her up and running. Alright, so the top of it lights up with this little My Arcade logo when you plug it in, so that's kind of cool. Nice little visual cue there. Oh, crashed again. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, hopefully I can actually show you some of these games because they are really unfortunate. If I can't get it working, I might just insert a clip from my previous review where I'm actually playing these games, but like Curly Monkey is a knockoff of Donkey Kong, but it's super bad. Alright, so now I got to run it off of battery power, 4 AA batteries, which seems to be doing the trick here. Oh no, it crashed. Darn it, I had just launched a game too. We were really onto something here, boys. I was about to tell you what a tremendous value this console is. I'd like to get a little gameplay footage for you guys. Alright, Curly Monkeys. Let's launch it. You guys are about to see some masterful gaming here. Alright, so you can throw these little Okay, cool. Generally, your best case scenario is that it just doesn't work out of the box like this, because it's going to be virtually the same as if you try and play any of these third-party games that either don't launch, there's doubles, or they're just straight up trash. Like, it'll give you 30 seconds of like some button clicking, and then you'll be like, wow, I'm never going to visit this again. So I've tested many retro consoles, and I have to say, thus far, this is the worst. I'm sure I will test third-party consoles, you know, little Chinese knockoff consoles in the future that are worse. But as of now, the Golden Shower trophy for worst console. I mean, it literally feels like it's made out of paper mache, like it's about to crumple in your hands. The games were programmed in somebody's basement or on somebody's cell phone on their lunch break. The controllers, I mean, you'd get the same satisfaction on your fingertips from fisting a jar of mayonnaise. It's just not great, boys. There's so many better things you could spend 25 or 30 bucks on, to be 110% honest. All right, guys, it's in the description below. Make sure you scoop one up. Just kidding, don't. But it's down there if you want it. If this video was beneficial for you guys and I just saved you about $30, liking the video helps this video to get seen by more people, so this information can reach them and help them as well. Subscribe for more reviews of retro consoles, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.